We already knew that Benjamin Shook is a convicted sex offender, but I found out Hayleigh Wilson wasn't the first victim he lured online. Our investigation led us to a small piece of his past. From the beginning, officers have said they are concerned about 14-year-old Hayleigh Wilson. They say Hayleigh and Benjamin Shook met through an app called Kick. More than a decade earlier, court documents state Shook met a young girl in a very similar situation.
He's got an extensive criminal history.
According to court documents that I received from Habersham County, Georgia, Shook pled guilty to child molestation and enticing a child for indecent purposes. The documents state he solicited a girl under 16 through the computer. It states Shook then molested her. Shook was sentenced to 1 to 20 years in prison and up to a $100,000 fine. Not even a month after the prior incident, police arrested Shook for more child sex crimes just across the county line in Banks County, Georgia. Documents state in July of 2004, he had sexually explicit images of someone under the age of 18 on a computer. According to court documents, he pleaded guilty to 7 counts of sexual exploitation of children. A year later, Shook was sentenced to 20 years behind bars, 10 of which he would spend on probation, as long as he complied with the sex offender registration laws. The 2 sentences in Banks and Habersham County ran concurrently. Shook was then released from prison in September of 2014. At that point, he was required to register with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. According to officials, he failed to do that. That's when a federal case began and a warrant was issued for Shook on September 11th of 2014. According to the GBI, Shook never told them that he was leaving the state of Georgia, but some soon found out that he had made his way to Tennessee. In February of this year, he applied and received a temporary ID card from the Tennessee Department of Safety. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation also says Shook never registered with them as a convicted sex offender. 4 months later, an Amber Alert was issued for Hayleigh Wilson and Shook.
It's just terrifying to know that you've got a 14-year-old child in the hands of somebody like that.
Just last week, the United States Marshals Service filed a warrant for Shook's arrest. They're also offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to Shook's capture. Lauren Havlin, News Channel 11 in your corner.